Hey guys, it's Jason here, and welcome to another Brawlmachine battle report. Today we are bringing you a classic Cygnar vs Khador from Reed and Dean. So without further ado, we're going to get into the lists. Hope you guys enjoy.
So Dean here, in my, of course, brave Motherland Khadorian list, I brought Vladimir 2, and it was a winter. I love him just for the fact that he's an extremely hard hitter, and his feat makes Doom Reavers absolutely insane, talking about anything in its way. I've brought Ruin, of course. With all the anti-infantry tech I have in the list, him being able to get souls should be an easy task, and being self-sufficient means Vladimir doesn't have to waste any focus on. Marauder, same idea, very self-efficient, very cheap. A Koldun Lord, again, a very staple for Rules of Winter list. I mainly brought him for the Brittle Frost spell, just to make my armor cracking just that little bit better. Orsus the Chains, really good solo, especially for his point cost. He can kill about anything I want to get him into, and if I have to capture a flag, well, at least I have a second solo on the list. I brought a full unit of Doom Reaver Swordsmen, plus their CA. Pretty self-explanatory. Spell Wards, PS12 Weapon Masters, and on Vladimir feet, they can kill just about anything. I also brought a unit of Grey Lord Turians, just for a bit of extra supports. In case any of my Doom Reavers ever die, being able to bring some of them back will be pretty.
I'm Reed, and I chose to drop Stryker2 and Flames in the Darkness today. I really like Stryker2 because he buffs up their army's armor against range attacks with deceleration, and with positive charge, he really makes his army hit hard and is accurate. I brought Centurion with him because he's very self-sufficient jack. He can't be charged because of the polarity field, and he can shield guard, and he's just extremely tanky. Ironclad, I just like him as a cheap beat stick with an easy knockdown. And then I brought Alexia. Alexia just grabs a bunch of souls from nearby models dying and can summon like Weapon Master solos that are great at just for scenario, and just their threat is really good. Ragman I brought for the armor debuff. Glyn Cormier I just brought for be a good flag camper with stealth and repo 3. She just goes out, shoots something with a place gun, and repos back to the. And then I brought Precursor Knights as my infantry unit. They're just good at being weapon masters for a turn with their weapon attachment, and they have Sacred Ward, so they're pretty hard to remove. Cygnar Turn 1. So I won the roll-off, and I decided to go first to get some early board presence. And I chose to move the Precursor Knights up first. And I'm positioning them in such a way that only some of his Doom Reavers can get into them naturally without feeding. So that way, if he does choose to feed, I don't lose too many, and I can hit him back with Vengeance and my own feat if necessary. Okay, after moving the Precursor Knights, I then move up Ragman just to get into a position where he can apply the armor debuffs for targets the Precursor Knights want to get into. And I just move Alexia up the board and just keep her in a good position to keep everything in their command range. I just run up the Warjacks just to threaten the square zone to score it. And then I just move up Stryker, and he has no upkeep, so I just have him move up in velocity forward and decel.
Khador, turn 1. So I instantly recognized that the Precursor Knights were within a threat range of my Doom Reavers, and my monkey brain made me activate to go attack them. Most of this starting part is just me measuring and checking everything that's within range. I currently have Vladimir behind the Mount Doom looking structure, so you can't see him, but I promise he's there. Trust me. In this case, I'm just double checking the range, seeing when I want to get in. So right here, I was just double checking, seeing how many guys I could get in, see if it would be worth the point value cost. I ended up ditching that idea because I thought it'd be funny if I got in anyways. So I'm just double checking everything again, getting the measuring tape, seeing realistically what can hit what. And right here, I was about to do my quick apparition move. In this case, I was double checking what range Vladimir could go in my jacks. I was just simply running Ruin up. I decided to deploy my jacks on the right side to contest the objective. Although on rewatch, having the tree in the middle, I probably should have sent Ruin over to the left side because I had really hard time getting over there later in the game. I was just checking what kind of spells I could have on my Koldun Lord, and ultimately decided it couldn't do much, and decided just to activate Vlad first. I gave a sail to my Marauder to get a bit of extra threat range. Rune already had a naturally pretty good threat range, so I thought it'd be pretty good to cast it on him. I was just double checking my ranges, and I decided to cast Hand of Fate onto my Turians because I had really no one else to cast it onto. Alright, I just quickly moved up Vladimir, and I was just double checking his control range to make sure my Doom Reavers would at least be within his pulse. Right here, I'm just quickly double checking their threat ranges, and I'm saying what order I would feat on my soldiers. Alright, last thing I did was get Arcane Might onto Vladimir. I couldn't sadly get the Doom Reavers within range when they charged, but I thought it'd be useful for later turns, just in case some survived, and also for the Grey Lord Turians. Alright, here, so I rolled a 3 on my feet, so I affected 5 of my soldiers with my feet. Right here, I'm just moving them in. Now, a mistake in hindsight I made here was not moving some of them back, like backed up. I probably on feet turn didn't need too many Turians to wipe out his warriors, but I did do that. With my Neuron activated, I started attacking his soldiers from left to right. I managed to pluck out his first model, and I used my Berserk attack to attack this next one. Wiped him out as well. And I used my next Doom Reaver model to hit another one as well. So far, all my attacks were hitting, and definitely killing. The rest of his front line was completely gone. All he had about left was a Morrowan priest, his command attachment, and a flag, I believe. The last thing I do was run the Turians up, trying to get him as close as possible. The Doom Reavers would be my opponent's sole focus next turn, so I knew they would probably be safe. Last thing I did is I realized I put Butcher on the right side of the board, which isn't smart considering I already have Soul on the far right, so I moved him over to try to cap the objective as fast as he could. Again, recognizing the Turian had about nothing to cast, I just moved him up and ended his activation there.
Cygnar Turn 2. So I realized that I left more precursors in his start ranges than I originally thought. I thought his speed only gave him +2 speed, but apparently it's +3, so he got a lot more in than I expected. So this is definitely going to be feat turn. To start off, I'm just checking to make sure everything's in Stryker2's control range for when I'm ready to feat. But right here, I'm going to be making my vengeance attacks and allocating focus. I end up allocating more to the Centurion because I think I'm going to need his help clearing out the Doom Reavers because his feat turn also makes them pretty hard to remove. And my Ironclad really doesn't need the focus to be doing anything this turn. So right here I'm making the vengeance attacks. None of them are really hitting or cracking, which is to be expected. I need some of my buffs and debuffs up to take them out. Right here, I'm planning to get Stryker to do some personal work with his 2 hand cannons. He's just going to need to clear some out to make it easier. So I'm just checking his line of sight for those, and he wants to stay behind the wall. So I end up rolling pretty well here, and I end up removing, I believe, 2 Doom Reavers, because Dean doesn't make the tough rolls there. And I put positive charge on the Centurion, and just make sure Stryker safe behind the wall. I then move Ragman up, and I put up the arm debuff to give Dark Shroud to my nearby precursors, and for when the Centurion comes in too. There I'm just proxying the Centurion moving around the barricade, see if he can get a decent charge into one of them. I just want his mat buff out with positive charge, so I can hit these Doom Reavers reliably, and the extra damage buff is also useful because their armor is now pretty high with feet. There's me just measuring out Ruin's threat range to make sure he can't get into Centurion once I engage him, because I don't think I'm going to have enough focus for Polarity Field at the end of this. I have him charge, and if I remember correctly, he ends up hitting all these and killing like 2 or 3 Doom Reavers here by himself, which is really good. I then have the remainder of the Precursor Knights go up, and they're just going to whack into the Doom Reavers. And they end up hitting with the mat buff and doing pretty good because of the arm debuff and the positive charge buff, so they can crack armor pretty reliably now. Here I'm planning out where Alexia 2 wants to go. She got 3 soul tokens since he demolished my front line, but I'm gonna get 3 Thrall Warriors here, and I'm gonna want one of them to go contest Dean's flag. But I want the other ones going into the Doom Reavers to make sure to clear them out, because I can't leave them alive, otherwise they'll just clear up the rest of my infantry. They're being proxied by my beautiful Dreadrots over there, because I have not bought them yet. I just have Alexia Repo there. Then I'm going to start activating the Thrall Warrior solos, so I'm just having him charge a Doom Reaver there. I believe I roll pretty well on these with Mat 6. I'm hitting almost all of these, so I'm getting really lucky on the dice rolls there. He ends up toughing though. I did make a bit of a mistake when spawning in these solos. I should have spawned them in before Stryker2 went, so I could have got them in the feet, since it's a pulse feat. So unfortunately they're not going to be able to make the extra 3-inch move and attack. But what I have left should be enough to clear out the rest of the Doom Reavers pretty reliably. So I'll just make more attacks. And I'm turning that Thrall Warrior solo on the flag. Right here I'm just moving Glyn, and I'm just going to see if I can take a pot shot since she's pretty safe there and can just repo back. I end up spiking pretty hard here and actually damaging his jack, so I just do the place effect and put his back to me so he can't do anything about that. I then just move my Ironclad to the zone, so when scoring starts, I'm at least contesting, and I just keep him out of the threat ranges of both of his heavies. I then started making Stryker feet attacks into the Doom Reavers again, and I end up clearing all but one. I believe I also have Alexia contribute here because I feel like she's pretty safe, and I remembered that she has a decent melee weapon. During these activations too, I try to get as many models in the positive charge range of the Centurion. That's why I had him activate first, just to up my accuracy. And I use the feat just to reposition Stryker2 a little so I'm a bit more comfortable behind the wall, just to prevent any early assassinations.
Khador, turn 2. He ended up hitting me harder than I expected, though considering it was his almost entire army, I guess I shouldn't have been. I instantly started trying to figure out a way to contest him on objective. After losing my big squad, I would be quite behind. Right here, I was apparitioning my Doom Reaver because I realized even though he's knocked down, I can still apparition him to get him within range of his CA and Battle Priest, which is the much better target than the quote-unquote Dreadrot beside him. So generally what I was trying to think here is the best way for my Turians to wipe out his chaff. I realized there probably wasn't, so I decided to activate the Reaver first and see what he could knock out before I did anything. I rolled extremely well and managed to wipe out both the Priest and his CA. Though sadly he did succeed the tough roll on the Battle Priest. I started trying to figure out a way to contest the soul objective, possibly take it for myself, and stop his infantry from just murdering Butcher 4 and my Centurion unit there. I decided I would try to push from the right flank as hard as possible while distracting him at the center zone, and I made an extremely big misplay there. Yeah, I'm just double checking the range of all my spells, seeing what I have. I wanted to bring back some of the Doom Reavers if I could, but I realized the only thing I really had to shoot was what was left of his units, and those had Sacred Lord, so that wasn't happening. Right here, I'm just positioning them as best as I can. I decided I would have 2 blasting at the back, take out his Dread Rots, and have the 3rd Centurion cloud wall the objective to block off line of sight to the other 2, and hopefully buy at least a bit of time. Alright, right here I'm just trying to knock out the Thrall Warriors that he left. I succeeded on getting out the one on the solo base off, and I use my other Centurion to try to wipe out the next one. I roll hot dice again and completely clear it. I place down the cloud on the Centurion. And right here I was trying to decide how to keep out of range of his Centurion. I definitely didn't want to get charged by that, and here is where I made a big misplay. I decided to move the Marauder within threat range of his Ironclad, because I had it in my head that the Ironclad threaded 11 inches. To no fault of my opponent, I just, yes, I didn't check his card in a while, and it was 9-inch threat range instead of 11. I was trying to rush the objective as harsh as possible, get the Ironclad to charge in, then trade it with Ruin to really put scenario pressure, at least try to tie it up a bit, but yeah, that was just a big misplay on my part. I was really worried about his solo there, so the Koldun Lord used his no shooting spell to try to negate it as much as possible, and Vladimir decided to hang in the back and chill. He didn't have too much to do, so, you know, he's chilling. Alright, here I'm just moving Butcher 4, the sexy lad, up to camp the objective, defend it as much as possible. I thought at most he could get in some Thrall Warriors, and that even if, you know, they charged, he would live, minimum. So I thought it was a pretty good risk-reward aspect. Right here, though, I'm just double-checking the range on everything and all my spells to make sure everything's good. And right here, I believe I had a little bit of extra spell power, so I was using Razor Wind from Vlad onto his solo. And that was my amazing turn 2.
Cygnar Turn 3. So I see here that he's giving me his Marauder, so I'm going to allocate 3 to the Ironclad and try to get as much work into that as possible and hopefully take it off the board. I'm just seeing what I can do to clear out the zone too, to score up a bit on scenario if possible, and I'm just making my vengeance moves to move up the board. I believe I also make an attack against the remaining Doom Reaver, and I managed to remove him there, which is nice. Then do all the allocation here. Oh, right here I'm seeing how many Thrall Warriors I can get in on the Marauder if possible, if I needed to finish it off. So I'm just measuring where Alexia can land and where she can pop out the solos. Right here, I'm moving Stryker up to give out positive charge to the Ironclad. And just seeing if his gun can shoot anything, which it can't. So then I just have velocity back behind the wall and stay safe. Make sure he's outside of threat of ruin. Then I have the Ironclad charge. He hits the defense 10 and gets the knockdown, so he's just going to be auto-hitting from here. And I managed to spike some damage rolls and do a ton of damage into his Jack. I believe I also knocked down his solo there with the Tremor attack, which I kind of forgot about, but really nice. By the end of this, I believe I leave it on a couple of boxes, which is more than to be expected, but it was really nice. So then I'm just measuring Glyn, see if I can get her charge in to up the chance of her killing that. She is a weapon master, so like walking in should do some damage, but I just want to get insurance that thing dies, because it'd be really bad if it stayed alive this turn. So I end up having to walk her in, and she just makes her melee attack and auto hits, and she cranks the damage, kills it, and then I just have her repo back behind the crate, and hopefully she'll be fine there. Having Ragman just move to a spot to apply some more armor debuff. Or, no, this turn he's doing the Bone Shaker attack, and just trying to remove him, but doesn't end up working. I decided that there's nothing worth armor debuffing up that side of the field, so no point bothering. Just move up the Centurion, just put him in a spot where he can polarity field and not be charged by Ruin, and just threaten the zone, just for next turn to maybe get a good turn out of him. Just making sure I'm in all the proper threat ranges. And I believe I also just have Centurion make the attack against that turning there. Have my Battle Priest go and see if he can remove one or two of them. I believe he ends up flubbing the rolls here, and I don't get any of them, unfortunately. I just roll like double 4s, and I need like 7s or 6s, which happens sometimes. I have Alexia go, and she's got 3 souls again, mainly from the Doom Reavers I end up finishing off there. Some of my own guys, and I spawn in the Thrall Warrior solos. And I want to put summon a Butcher, and if it ends up killing him, I want to put one into the turnings over there just to get one of them, kill one of them off to make it easier for next turn. So I'm charging one in here. I end up rolling a hard 8 here, which is very fortunate. So then I make the Weapon Master attack, and I didn't realize this, but he has like 10 boxes, but I blew up the damage and just took him right off the board, which makes it super easy for me to just have the other guys go and hopefully take out some turn-ins. The one that didn't charge Butcher didn't have being on flag, so I ended up deciding it's better to put one on Scenario there. Just start scoring up, because I realized I have the attrition lead and I want to force him to come to me, so just want to start the scoring process. And I have the other one charge one of the turn-ins. I believe I missed that attack though.
Khador, turn 3. Alright, he dealt a pretty heavy blow, and I realized things were getting pretty desperate for me. So I was trying to figure out a way I could trickily try to clear around in attrition, because his caster was hiding in the back like a coward. I first thought I could try killing his Ironclad with Vladimir, but quickly realized that wouldn't work due to Stryker's 17-inch threat range, so that was quickly cancelled out. So I instead thought to take a more passive approach with Vladimir and possibly just try a bit of spell slinging and a bit more support. Right here, I'm just trying to figure out Apparition for the Turians. They were completely locked up, so moving them back would be the smarter play to at least get a bit of spell slinging out. I move him back initially, but I end up taking this back a bit. I realized that I probably want to contest the zone on the left-hand side. It was much easier to contest than going for the main objective, and I thought if things went well enough on the right-hand side, I could possibly get something over. Alright, so just checking what to toss on. I put 3 focus onto Ruin, and I had a decent amount left over with Vladimir. So I was just trying to figure out generally what to put on or not. I got rid of the knockdown token to activate the Koldun Lord. I was just trying to hit the Ironclad with my armor debuff, trying to make it a bit easier to knock down. I sadly ended up missing on it, which was unfortunate, but happens. In this case, I was double checking how far the Centurion could get again, because if I lost Ruin, that would practically be game already. And I'm starting to realize how big of a mistake it was for me to not have Ruin on the left-hand side. I could have already reaped a decent amount of souls, and at the very least, I would have a bit more of a presence there. I was starting to get quite indecisive, as I was still thinking there was a much more simpler answer that I could have come up with, but I honestly couldn't find another way out of this block, so I just decided to go in with Ruin and punch his Ironclad. I ended up hitting most of my attacks, and my first damage roll wasn't bad at all. I ended up missing my second one, so I went for it again. I ended up removing the Ironclad, which of course I expected from Ruin. And right here, I was really having a tougher time again, trying to decide. I ended up stalling quite a bit when I really didn't need to, but it ended up costing me too bad. Right here, I tried to get a desperate Razor Wind onto a solo. I was just at this point desperately trying to get some attrition back and make some scenario presence. The only problem of doing this is that I would be within Stryker 2's threat range, but I would end up camping 2 focus, and I had a feeling he wouldn't risk something like that. I'm moving a bit close just to make sure I'm within his stealth radius, so I can actually get the attack off. And just double checking again Stryker's threat range. And right here, I boost the attack roll to try to hit it. I sadly missed though, completely. And he has dodged, so he quickly moves back out of the way. We go right here with my Turians, try and knock out the solos on the left objective. I managed to wipe out the one, and the second one as well. Hand of Fate coming in clutch. So at the very least, I'm contesting
Cygnar Turn 4. So here I see Dean. Dean's camping the rectangle zone there. So I decided just to let him come to me because I'm up on scenario. I can just cap the zones, and I don't have to engage him here. So it's just going to be mainly positioning at the moment, just to cap all the scenario elements and force favorable trades from. So right here, I'm just moving my solo, and I'm just having him kill off Dean's remaining forces up there, so I can cap the flag. I have Ragman make an attack here, and he ends up hitting and killing him, which is pretty nice. Now just having Glyn move. She's just making a shot, seeing if she can get some chip in. I don't think... no, never mind. She does some damage here. And kills off Dean's solo. And I just have a repo in the forest, just cap the zone if need be. And move in to hit Ruin if he engages on Centurion, which I've moved up and Polarity fielded. So that way he can only trample into me rather than get the full charge. So hopefully Centurion should be able to survive that. I'm just having Alexia spawn in a bunch of Dreadrots, and then I'm just going to have a repo. I want the Dreadrots just to gum up Ruin and force Vlad to kill some of them off and hopefully get some decent damage into him. I move the one off to the flag just to cap it, and then the other two are just going to charge in. I believe they both connect. They do a decent amount of damage, but nothing crazy. Just make it easier for my rest of my forces to finish him off next turn. And just move the Battle Priest into the middle of the zone, just keep him safe so I can just cap that with him, since he's the remainder of the unit.
Khador Turn 4. So I quickly realized that this is a very desperate situation and I have to really do something drastic. So I move Vladimir up just to clear the infantry blocking Ruin. The idea being that I'll clear the infantry, cap the flag and the zone at the same time, then trample Ruin to Centurion since I can't charge him, and buy attacks. With the sale, I could easily make the trample. In addition, it would be also a free trample, which is at least some positivity into it. So right here, I'm just tossing on a sale, again, to get the free trample. So in right here, I get in Centurion with the tramples, and I start making my attacks. I managed to hit my first one just fine, and get a decent damage roll. I also keep on rolling hot in my second. And I sadly... sorry, I ended up damaging my third one. It was a decent amount of damage, and I managed to cripple his left arm, which wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as much as I needed Ruin to do.
Cygnar Turn 5. So right here, I just need to remove Ruin and start and score up. It's the last turn. I'm putting on scenario and army points, so he's gonna probably have to go for an assassination attempt, which, as long as I keep Stryker in the back, I should be relatively safe. So right here, I'm just measuring how far I can move Stryker away from Vlad without getting in melee. I want him to do some personal work and like put out positive charge on Ruin just to make sure I remove that jack. So that's a lot of army points and gets me a lot of gets me up on scenario even more. Right here, I'm just moving Ragman for the arm debuff on Ruin. Now I'm moving Centurion. I'm gonna start making attacks. With positive charge and the death field debuff from Ragman, I'm gonna do pretty good here because I'm hitting at effective PS 20, and I end up doing a good chunk down with Centurion. Oh, right here, yes, rolled better than I thought. Centurion actually just removes them if you spike some damage rolls, so I don't have to have Alexia or any of the others going for it. So I'm just having some Thrall Warriors come up the area and just block the zone a little. I just have Glyn run up and melee Vlad just to be a nuisance. I believe she misses and doesn't end up doing anything, and that's where I end my turn.
Khador Turn 5. With just my caster left and way behind the scenario points, the play seemed rather obvious to me. Right here, I'm just double checking if I could possibly get within a charge range, but sadly not. So I decided to try to go for a range assassination. I'm just figuring out a way to move past his model that he blocked up with me. I'm going to need a free strike, but it won't really matter much anyways. So he's just rolling to hit here. He definitely does hit me. He's quickly rolling some damage. It's nowhere near enough to kill though, so I don't even bother trying to shrug it off. Since my only really feasible spell to assassinate him is Razor Winds, I decided to try to make 3 attacks, all unboosted on the hit. So I need 9s to try to hit it, which is rather tough, but I'm in a really bad spot right now. I missed my first attack and get another one. I missed that one as well, and on my third attack, I decided not to boost as well because I'm going to need boost all the damage. I miss as well. I do hit my third attack, but it's practically no damage. With that, I lose.
Alright guys, and that was Stryker2 versus Vlad2, Cygnar versus Khador. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to drop a like down below. Please do subscribe if you're new to the channel, and yeah, that's about all I got. So please feel free to leave any feedback down below. We read all the comments because we're just starting out, so obviously there's lots of things we can improve on, and hopefully over time the quality of these videos just keeps getting better. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this, and until next time, peace.